Hi, Dave Holcomb here for a Chat Sports on-air host audition. The Steelers hold the 20th pick in the 2019 NFL Draft, which is the highest selection Pittsburgh has held in the draft since they took Ryan Shazier 15th overall in 2014. Unfortunately, the Steelers are still trying to replace Shazier, who we all know suffered the horrific injury in December 2017, hasn't played since. The Steelers have lacked speed and playmaking ability in their middle of their defense without Shazier over the last year plus, and they're looking to add a linebacker in the 2019 draft. Most people believe that they are looking to do that. So today I wanted to explore the possibility of the Steelers trading up to get their playmaker linebacker in the middle of their defense to replace Shazier. There's two linebackers that a lot of people have connected the Steelers to in mock drafts this offseason. That is Devin White from LSU, Devin Bush from Michigan. Coincidentally, they both have the same first name. But the consensus right now is that both are probably going to be gone when the Steelers pick 20th overall. So assuming that the Steelers like either one of these linebackers, we can't automatically assume that just based on mock drafts. Remember, mock drafts are other people's opinions that aren't really based on what the teams, where teams rank players themselves. It's just based on that mock draft expert's opinion on that team's needs and how they evaluate players. Everybody evaluates players differently. But let's assume that the Steelers have evaluated these linebackers and they like both of them and they consider them, top of the line linebackers, guys that can start right away and are worth a first round pick. Steelers not in the top half of the first round, but could they trade up to 16, maybe 15, right around where they took Ryan Shazier and take one of these linebackers? I would say if they like either one of them, then the Steelers have to be aggressive trying to trade up and get one of these guys. And there's a few reasons for that. Number one is because of what happened in last year's draft. The Steelers, we don't know for sure how aggressive they were in trying to trade up to get one of the linebackers they liked last year to try and replace Shazier, but ultimately they weren't able to do that, or they weren't aggressive enough to get to move up and get a linebacker. So they settled to take the safety Terrell Edmunds at number 28. I don't think we can say that Edmunds is definitely a bust, but he didn't make the impact that a lot of fans wanted out of the 28th overall pick last year from the Steelers. The Steelers are a team that went 13-3 in 2017, coming off that great season, a disappointing playoff performance against Jacksonville. They needed a playmaking defender, and they didn't get that, at least not immediately. Maybe Edmunds will still be a serviceable starter, but he wasn't an immediate impactful player. The Steelers need to get an immediate impactful player on their defense in 2019 in order to get back to the postseason and truly compete to get back to the Super Bowl before Big Ben retires. And that's really the second reason I would say that they need to be very aggressive in trading up for one of these linebackers this year, is because of Ben Roethlisberger's age. Just turned 37 this March. Time is ticking on his career. He's not going to be a guy like Tom Brady, Drew Brees, that plays into his 40s and continues to play at an all-pro, Pro Bowl type level at that age. Roethlisberger's been hit a lot. We all know that as Steeler fans, that he's got more miles on him than, say, a Brady or a Peyton Manning did, or Drew Brees. So he's not somebody that is going to be as durable late in his 30s, I believe. And already at 37, you're looking at maybe 1, 2, perhaps, if you're lucky, 3 more really good seasons or good seasons from Roethlisberger. And at that point, especially now that he doesn't have the same playmakers around him, Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown, you're going to start to see a regress in his play. It's possible the regress even starts happening in 2019 at 37. It's not uncommon for quarterbacks to regress at that age. So you need a better defense, obviously, to get back to the playoffs. It wasn't good enough in 2018 to win 10 games and capture the AFC North. But you need somebody that not only is going to help you get a better defense, you need that better defense right now because Roethlisberger doesn't have time to wait around for another pick like Edmonds to develop 2 or 3 years from now. So that's why you're very aggressive to trade up for one of these linebackers that are projected to be starters from day one. And the last big reason I think the Steelers need to be very aggressive or could be very aggressive trading up to get one of these Devons, if you will, is they have the draft capital, maybe unlike previous seasons, to pull off this deal, and it doesn't, mortgage their future. It doesn't hurt their draft all that much because they have so many other picks to work with. The Steelers have a pick in every single round this year. They have 2 picks in the 3rd round, 3 picks in the 6th round. A lot of people have already begun speculating that if the Steelers want to move up to, say, number 16 and make a trade with Carolina, who picks at 16, then they would probably have to give up one of their 3rd round picks, which is fine in a year like this because the Steelers have 2 3rd round picks thanks to the Antonio Brown trade. And I think if the Steelers got what they wanted, they would obviously keep the 3rd round pick they got from the Oakland Raiders in the Brown trade because that is a lot higher pick than their own 3rd round selection. But they trade that pick, their own 3rd rounder, that's 83rd overall, and their 20 overall pick to move up a handful of spots and make sure they get one of these linebackers. It's probably going to be a Devin Bush right now, at least according to mock drafts. Devin White is the more highly regarded linebacker who could end up playing in the AFC North for a team like the Cincinnati Bengals, who've been connected to him in mock drafts at number 11 overall. So you have a lot of these picks for the Steelers because of trades they made. The Brown trade, they got 2 picks. Marcus Gilbert trade, they got a 6th rounder. So you don't give up all that much by giving up one of those 3rd round picks to move up. Make sure you get your linebacker, and then you have a 2nd and 3rd round selection still to probably draft a wide receiver and a cornerback as well. I would target them as the next 2 big needs for the Steelers in the draft this year behind middle linebacker. So those are the 3 big reasons I would say the Steelers must be aggressive if they like these linebackers, ensuring they try and get one of them. It's been a while since they traded up in the 1st round. I think a lot of Steeler fans on Twitter have brought that up, that they're comparing Devin Bush, Devin White to a Troy Polamalu type, who was a safety that the Steelers traded up for in 2003. And mortgaged the future maybe a little bit or gave up draft picks for him in order to get him, but they knew that he was going to be an all-pro, and we all know Polamalu regarded as one of the best players in Steelers history, at least modern-day history for the Steelers. So I'm not saying that if they go up and trade up for Bush or White, that the expectation is that they're the next Troy Polamalu. Those are too high of expectations, but it is similar in the sense of the Steelers have identified their biggest need. They have the draft capital to go out and get it, and they need that. They need to fill this need right away with a player that can make an immediate impact because Ben Roethlisberger just doesn't have enough time to sit around anymore.